Hey everyone, it's Angelica Cole. Oh my goodness, you guys, it's true. Letecia Stauch is going to represent herself in court. So Letecia had court this morning at 11:30 with Judge Werner to have her Arguello Advisement. And you might have heard by now, an Arguello Advisement is basically when they try to talk the defendant out of representing themselves. So indeed, Letecia Stauch went into her conflict hearing and told the judge that she didn't have a conflict with her attorneys, but that she simply wanted to represent herself. So I'm going to go ahead and read you the notes that I took in court. You're not allowed to make recordings of any kind, so I just tried to notate what I could, and I'm going to go through those now. She told Judge Werner that it wasn't anything against her current attorneys and that they had been fine, but that she just felt like she took no value into the word expert because they aren't able to provide her their expert service at this time. She said, "I think I can do it on my own. It's a constitutional right that I have." And the judge said, "Well, yeah, it is." And then he kind of started to test her on her court knowledge. Do you understand the word hearsay? And she wasn't really able to describe what the word hearsay meant. And he said, "Have you ever been to trial on a traffic case? Or do you know how to select a jury or admit evidence?" And she responded with, "I'm well educated, so that won't be a problem." So Judge Werner kind of continues down that road and he says, "Well, so you don't know how to introduce evidence. Is that fair?" And Letecia says, "That's fair." And the judge goes, "Okay, so how long did it take you to get your master's?" He's kind of trying to show her you would not, hire somebody to do a job unless you knew that they got it done right. And Letecia is just like, "Well, I've got 23 hours a day where they only have a couple." And the judge is like, "Yes, but how do you match the experience that you've got with your attorneys?" And Leticia's response to that was, "It doesn't say in the Constitution that we have to match experience." She said that it might sound audacious, but she's really good at poker, and you need to know when to hold them and when to fold them, and she wouldn't be so confident if she didn't know that she had an ace in the hole. So Judge Werner just continued to try to explain how important it is to have that kind of experience in your side. He stated that you would never want to do your own dental work, even though it's constitutional and nobody says that you have to go to a dentist. We just don't do our own dental work because you want to have somebody who's a trusted professional, somebody who's been trained to do this for you. And Letecia, kind of understood that, but she said, "Well, I think that this is different for me because I don't have all of these restrictions." She said that she can't meet with her attorneys, that she can't participate and see things. And the judge responded with, "Okay, so am I understanding that one of the biggest problems here is just your communication and that you just want to see the discovery?" And Letecia said, "Well, they have no control. They can't use their expertise. 3 of her inmates had heard her conflict hearing, so she doesn't feel like anything is private." And the judge said, "Well, so if we fix the in-person communication, would this feel better for you? Would you be willing to go forward?" And Letecia basically just responded with no, that wouldn't make her feel better, that she's just insisting on representing herself. And the judge continued on with, "Are you aware that there's 30,000 pages of discovery? Do you understand that this is a huge, significant amount?" And Letecia said, "Yes, I'm entitled to it." And the judge said, "Well, you know that not having enough time to go through this will not be an excuse for you." And she said that she was aware of that. And the judge asked her if she knew that she had the right to remain silent, and that if she understood that, she could negatively affect her case by the questions that she gives to other defendants, this type of thing. She said that she understood. The judge asked her if she felt like she had a lack of control and if that's the reason that she was doing this. And Letecia said that she did feel like she had a lack of control. And the judge said, "Well, you still won't have control. You'll actually have less control, and you could even incriminate yourself." And the judge went on and said, "Have you ever been a referee for your friends? Don't you see how that outside party was so important?" And Letecia agreed that, you get to see things from the outside looking in, but she said that she is so confident, and this is where the bombshell drops. She says that she's so confident in herself because she has 2 pieces of evidence that will clear her name. And she said, "It might sound audacious, but I am that confident." And the judge responded with, okay, I'm kind of glad that you're confident, but you're not familiar with the rules of the procedures of the court, and you don't even know if this evidence will be admissible. And Letecia responds with, oh, I know it will. And then Judge Werner says, well, that's a big chance to take. That's a big gamble, is what he said. And Letecia said, that's a chance I'm willing to take. It's my life. And the judge said, okay, would you like other counsel? Like, besides this counsel, can I get you other counsel? And she said, no. And he said, do you feel like you can properly present your case? And Letecia responded, yes. And he said, you know that it's possible that you may not be able to change your mind. And Letecia said, yes. And then he said, are you on any drugs and alcohol? And Letecia said, no, I do not do drugs. And the judge said, okay, do you want to make this your final decision? And she kind of hesitated, and he said, do you want to speak with one of your counsel, Miss Roy, Strobel, or LeBeau? And she said, yes, I want to speak with Miss Roy. And then she came back and she said, yes, Judge, that's my final answer. So still trying to give Letecia every chance in the world, the judge then goes, okay, well, let me ask you one thing. Do you want to make this decision today, or do you want to wait until the proof evident presumption great hearing? And Letecia goes, well, can I speak with Miss Roy again? And then she comes back and she goes, well, can the prosecution force this hearing? And because she wanted to waive the hearing. And the judge goes, that he's not sure. The prosecution might be able to force that hearing. And then court halts for over 10 minutes so that everybody in the room can research whether or not Letecia can waive this hearing or whether the prosecution can still force the hearing. So essentially, she's waiving all rights to this hearing, which is supposed to be, again, in her favor, as if to just illustrate the point of why Letecia should not be doing this herself. Court is literally paused for like 10 minutes so that everybody can figure out what the response is to that. So court resumes at right about 12:12, and it's still kind of up in the air as to whether or not the prosecution can force this hearing or if Letecia can waive it. And he starts telling Letecia, like, do you see that we've got 75 years of experience in this courtroom and we didn't know the answer to this? We couldn't anticipate this question coming in here, and we don't know the answer. Can you imagine if this kind of thing happens to you in court? Just trying to really illustrate how important it is that you have a professional in your side. And in response to this last plea to get Letecia to kind of understand what he's saying, Letecia says, I still want to defend myself. And Michael Allen then brings up the issue as to whether or not it would waive the probable cause hearing as well as the proof evident presumption great hearing. And the judge says again to Letecia, like, you realize that this could result in a stipulation because of the presumption great hearing. And Leticia's just like, yep, I understand. And the judge says, okay, so do you have any questions of me? And Letecia says, no. And the judge says, okay, well, I've tried to see whether you were here, whether you knowingly did this. He asked her if there was anybody that was forcing her to make that decision, to which she said no. And he said, okay, do you understand and wish to represent yourself? And Letecia said, yes. And hysterically, almost immediately after Letecia said that, Catherine Strobel goes, I'd like to file a motion to withdraw. And Judge Werner responded for Catherine to hold on, that he wanted to give discovery to the defendant before they withdrew. And Michael Allen and the judge, and they all kind of worked out how the discovery would work. Michael Allen said that, it's going to take a long time to print 30,000 pages of discovery, and that he would like to set a status conference to see how this is even going, because he can't send staples or binder clips, and he wasn't sure if they could do boxes. And he just thought that it was going to take a lot of work to figure out how to get all of the discovery to Letecia. And the judge said, okay, Letecia, will you be ready by March 11th? And she said, well, I want to see my own media. I do not want advisory council. And the judge said, I'm setting the advisory council. You're getting it regardless. And Letecia said, okay, well, I want to see my own media then. And the judge said, okay, that's fine. I don't think that that's a problem. And then they decided to set a status hearing for March 5th at 8:30 so that they could go over whether or not Letecia had been produced all of the 30,000 pages and however many 300 to 500 pieces of media that they have in the discovery file. So that is the next thing that we will see happen is on March 5th, Letecia will go to court and they will discuss whether or not we are ready to head in to the March 11th hearing. So that's where it stands right now, you guys. I can't believe it. She really is going to try to defend herself. Unbelievable. Stay posted, you guys. Thanks for watching.